head and the body of a demon called Rahu. There used to be a demon in the Vedic scripture in the olden days. In the mythology, they say there was a demon or a Rakshasa which was called Rahu. There was only one person, was Rahu, no Ketu. And during the Samudra Manthan, or the ocean churning, when the nectar came out, the idea was that whoever will drink that nectar, they will become immortal. In Hindi they say Amar ho jayega, and they will become immortal. They will never die. And Rahu was a demon, and Rahu's whole thing was that he wanted to become a devta. He wanted to become a devta, these 7 planets, right? Venus, Mars, and the other devtas, which are the 45 devtas. He always wanted to become a devta. So if you drink that nectar, he could have become a devta, and he could have become immortal. And so he started cheating there is a story behind that. He started cheating to take that nectar by becoming somebody else. And then Lord Vishnu came in, and he used his Sudarshana Chakra, and he cut that demon. So that demon before was also Rahu, not that Rahu came after that. There was only one person called Rahu. But when the Sudarshana Chakra was used, his head was cut. So the head became Rahu, only the head part, and the rest of the body became Ketu. Right? And the other relevance of that is Rahu was a snake. Okay. So why I'm trying to tell you this story here is Rahu was a snake. So the head actually is a snake. That Rahu is actually head is the snake's head. And rest of the body is the body of the snake, which is Ketu. So if we apply this, we know this is the most heaviest planet. Jupiter is the most heaviest planet in the solar system, right? And snake, southwest is Rahu. Rahu's snake head. What is the weight of the snake head? Nothing. Snake head will be what? 2. I mean, depending on how big is the snake, a small snake will be head. If you cut the snake head, that will be say 15 gram, 20 gram, 50 gram, at the most 1 kg for a big snake, at the most, right? But Jupiter is the heaviest planet. I don't know what is the weight of Jupiter, but will be the heaviest planet. Now, if you apply that concept in Vastu, they always say don't put heavier items in the northeast. They always say that don't put heavier items in the northeast. Reason is because the planet that zone is already heaviest. That is the heaviest planet in the solar system. That zone is already heavy. Don't put heavier items. But snake, the weight of the snake is less, and snake is there. If snake gets active, then you have a problem. So they always say put heavier items in south and southwest. Reason is because the snake's weight head's weight is nothing. 1 kg, 15 gram, 20 gram. That is the reason why you put the heavier stuff in south, which is where Mars is, and southwest. So where is my cursor? Hang on. Still find sometimes where my cursor goes. Okay, so that's where. I think there is one thing. Let me just try to do animate. So this one. That's where you want to put the heaviest stuff in your house, because that's where the snake head is. You want to bury the snake head. The weight of the snake head is nothing. Are you getting the concept here? Why we should not put the heaviest planet? Because this is already very heavy. Heaviest planet is already here in the north. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the sorry, question.
That's really good information.
Okay, that's good. I will try to bring my lot of other knowledge as well, which is why you will get. I think hopefully you will get benefit out of it. All right. Okay. How do you take off the clear? Okay. Right. Hang on. Take the analyte away. Okay. Jupiter is the form of Shiva. Okay, but also Ketu is represented by Lord Ganesha. Yeah. Why Lord Ganesha? Because Lord Ganesha was a human being, but his head was chopped, and Lord Shiva, Ganesha is the son of Lord Shiva and Parvati. Lord Shiva by mistake actually chopped. There is a story behind that which we want to. He chopped his head, and then he put a head of the elephant on top of it. But the rest of the body of the Ketu is the rest of the body of the snake, because his head was chopped. He has to put a different head. That's why Ketu is represented by Lord Ganesha, the elephant god. Yeah. So Ketu is Lord Ganesha. So if you are a doctor, you should always worship for Lord Ganesha. That's the other way to look at it. Because Dhanvantri is the goddess for immunity. Okay, Jupiter, you can worship Shiva. Jupiter can also be Buddha, and Jupiter can also be, in Sikhism, it is Guru Nanak. Guru Nanak is regarded as the Jupiter, because Jupiter is also known as Guru, and Guru Nanak in Sikhism was the first Guru who actually set up the whole concept of Sikhism, right? So if you say, for example, Lakbir, I know she's from a Sikh family. If you can't worship Shiva, you can worship Guru Nanak, right? For Jupiter. Sun is, we know, east of northeast. Sun is also represented by Indra, which is the Devta, but the god you can apply is Rama, Lord Rama, with Surya Vanshi. In Ramayana they say he's a Surya Vanshi. So if you can't worship Indra, say for example, you can actually worship Lord Rama. He's another form of Vishnu, but Sun is also Lord Rama, right? So if your sun is weak, for example, your eyes are weak, you should worship Lord Rama. That's how you design it. So the idea is to learn the basics behind it. Sun is represented by Lord Rama. You should worship Lord Rama for your eyes, for example. You have a bad relationship with father because sun is father. You can worship Lord Rama to enhance your energy or to enhance your relationship with father. Venus is relationships in general, and Venus is also cash flow. In Vastu concept, it is relationship and cash flow. Venus is represented by goddess. All the goddesses are Venus. Okay, goddess Lakshmi, which is what we worship on the Deepavali night, right? Is Venus. And you know what is the Deepavali night? Deepavali night is the night of Amavasya, which is the yes, correct. And so that day it is very powerful. Okay. And remember this, Venus is Yog Karak for Saturn. There is no moon. So the only thing on that day on Amavasya, the Saturn energy is very powerful. Remember that. New moon, there is no moon on that day, right? So Venus gives excellent results on Amavasya because Saturn is powerful that day. Mars is Lord Hanuman, but Mars is anything which is a warrior, right? You don't have to just worship warrior. Anything which is to do with Mars, which is warrior, which is a soldier. Mars represents that. Okay, and Mars also means if it is a soldier, it is to do with the. It is also to do with your confidence. The warrior has to have a confidence. But Yama is the son of sun. So we know Saturn is also the son of sun. Yes, he's the illegitimate child of sun, Saturn, because he was born from a lady who was not considered the wife of sun, but was also actually there's a story behind that, but for the timing assume that he is the illegitimate child of sun, and that's why Saturn and sun don't get along, because sun because he was born totally in dark color, whereas sun is totally whitish or orangish color. And when he saw his son as black color, he said this person cannot be my son, because my son cannot be totally black, and he discarded him. He left him. He's not my son. I don't want to do anything to do with it. And he also paid a lot of disrespect to his mother, which is actually Saturn's mother, right? And since then, he never gave respect to sun. So Saturn and sun don't get along, right? So that's the illegitimate child. But the real Yama, which is also the god for death, when a person dies, Yama actually comes down to the planet and takes your soul away, right? He comes. Remember, Yama actually comes on a black bull. जैसे हम काला भैंसा कहते हैं हिंदी में, in हिंदी भी इसे काला भैंसा, black bull or ox, I don't know that's the right word, but Yama comes on that and takes away your soul. So that means if somebody is dying, and this is just to share that if somebody is having a difficult time and they are dying, one of the remedies to do is to have a lot of well, there are two ways to look at it, maybe we'll discuss later, but actually feeding a black bull with lot of food so that he cannot move. If you find a black bull and feed him a lot of rotis or feed him a lot of food that he cannot move, what you're trying to do is you are actually trying to get more time for a person who is going to pass away. That's a very powerful remedy, but I'm just sharing. Yama, you're trying to stop the bull coming to your that person's house or a place so that his soul is not taken away. But Yama is the son of Sun, and Sun also had a daughter, which is actually Yamuna. So the river Yamuna is the daughter of Sun. So we know about Ganges, but we don't know much about Yamuna. Yamuna is the river Yamuna in India is actually the daughter of Sun, real. And this daughter, Yamuni, was actually uh, was obviously the real sister of Yama, but is a stepsister of Saturn. And Saturn used to love her a lot. He was very fond of her sister. Sorry, he was very fond of his sister Yamuni. So what I'm trying to tell you here is that if a person has wants to take blessing from Sun and Saturn, normally Sun and Saturn don't get along, right? If a person want to get a blessing from Sun and Saturn together, then they should take a dip in Yamuna, not Ganges, but in Yamuna, because Yamuna was loved by Sun and Saturn both. Yamuni is the daughter of Sun and is the stepsister of Saturn. That's a relevance to that. Nobody will tell you that, but I'm just sharing. This is more from astrological point of view. But Yamuni is the river where if people have Sun and Saturn say debilitated, right, then they should take a dip in Yamuna to get the blessings. Something to keep in mind. Southwest is Natri, or destruction goddess. That's one. Southwest. That's where Natri lies. That's a goddess of destruction. Okay, so that's why we say this is the very specifically this zone. Anything to do with Rahu is bad. Remember that he's a demon, snake. Saturn is west of Southwest, and the Devta which lies here is, or the Devta which you can worship also. You can worship Saturn directly. Remember, Saturn is also known as the son of Lord Shiva. So if you have a bad, if you are facing a lot of issues to do with Saturn, then you can also worship Lord Shiva. But Varuna is the other Devta. Varuna is the Devta of oceans, and so you can also worship. So technically, we are saying Varuna lives here. The Devtas of ocean lives here. So if you say, let's just go back. Oops, why is it not good? And can I say here Varuna is here? So you will see in your chakra here Varuna is here, for example, right? And Vayu is moon. Okay, moon. That's the air. So that's the air element in astrology, and moon is to do with Vayu as well. But here we are saying this is the space, Vayu. Okay. There can show you something here. Okay. All right. Okay. Now let's just bring a little bit more. This is more to do with astrology houses connect. So I think we might do a separate class, but just for the time being, assume sun is east. We know that. So when you say sun, we are referencing to your body, because this is the physical axis. Remember this, physical axis. So if your sun is weak, your body structure will also be weak. Remember that. Moon is northwest, food and support system. Okay. So remember this second is food and support system. Mars is south, power and confidence. So these are the 12 houses in astrology, Anshul. Okay. And so when we say first, so these are these houses we said here. So they are just telling you what that means. So first is body, 2 is food and support system, 3rd is courage. That's where Mars is, like that. Okay. So this is the relevance I have just studied here, but we'll do in a separate class, Anshul, for you.
Okay, thank you.
Mars gives you, so meaning Mars is 3rd house, power and confidence. 4th house is Jupiter, happiness. 4th house is where in zodiac is Cancer, where mother is. So happiness and satisfaction and nourishment is here. Okay, so this is where so northeast is your 4th house. Northeast is Jupiter. Sun, 5th house. Any eastern section of your house, eastern wall is Sun. Sun is also to do with fame. And in astrology, the karak of the progeny is actually Jupiter, but the 5th house in the natural zodiac is actually is Leo, and Leo is progeny. Okay. Remember, when a child is born, the lineage in the family is carried over by a boy, not by a girl, right? I'm just sharing something else. which is relevant to sun. You know why sun is important for lineage? Because the boy carries the X and Y chromosome, correct? Whereas the girls carry Y and Y chromosome, correct? So the X chromosome always comes from the father, and that's why a child gets a name from the father, not from the mother. So the point I'm trying to say here is that the lineage actually comes from sun. So if your sun is weak, for example, okay, then you will always have issues in your sperms, meaning in order to conceive, in order to get a child, you will always find that person always struggle in getting pregnancy, or doesn't get his wife pregnant easily, because he will always have issues in his sperms when sun is weak. Also remember, I'm just sharing this, and this is more to do with astrology, but saying if your sun is weak, and what is the signification of sun is weak? Weak eyes, okay? If somebody, when they're eating food, and this is just one thing to remember, if somebody who is eating food and they complain that, you know, the salt is not there or the salt is less, that's a very good symbol that their sun is weak. And when sun is weak, you will always see there are issues with lineage, that they might not have many sons in their family, they will have more girls, right? I'm not trying to be sexist here, or I'm just trying to say the concept of the lineage comes in, that the boys carries the lineage. That's why the surname from the father carries over to the family, not from the surname of not mother is being used, right? So that's to do with, that's why progeny is here, lineage is here, right? So that's why sun has to be important. Sun has to be, sorry.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah, sure. Quick one. Yeah.
For the sperms, we also see Venus in a chart,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
Sun, what you mentioned was from a lineage standpoint, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to tell you that Venus is the karak of our sperm. There is no doubt about that. So if Venus is weak, you will have a problem. But remember, you always say fifth house from Venus for the sperm to be good or not. Fifth house from Venus. What is the fifth house in natural zodiac? That is Leo.
And one more thing, fourth house, shouldn't it be Moon instead of Jupiter?
Correct, but here, that's why I'm saying there are some disconnect between the Vastu and astrology. But remember, what is fourth house? Fourth house is where your comfort is, happiness is. Okay. Here we are saying northeast. Northeast is where fourth house is. Go with this for the time being, Himanshu. All right.
Okay. Comfort and clarity. Okay, yeah, got it.
Yep.
I just observed something. I
Yep.
observed Anshu's his mute his the voice, you know, probably accidentally or what, I don't know.
Who's mute?
No, I'm muted. I'm muted
right.
intentionally. There is some kind of background noise from my end, so I didn't want to disturb you. That's it.
Okay. I thought you accidentally did it.
No. I'm actively listening, but it's just that I didn't want to disturb the whole class.
Okay, we are at 10:30, and let's just do this. We might not be, today is the first class, so that's okay. I will just do this, and maybe we have to do 45 days the next time. Mercury is north. Okay. That's that one. Rahu is southwest, and the reason we say, that's why I said to you guys that this area is important. Why I said, oops, why it's not working? Oops. I'm learning this thing. That haven't I got the right one? Oops. Hang on a sec. Why am I on it? Okay. So the reason I said this one is this area is, remember that relations. Yeah. So specifically this area, this is where the demon lives in. So, and if people sleep in this direction, I can guarantee you they will end up going to divorce, right? That's the area, SSW. In fact, this area is bad as well. But we'll tell you, this area is actually the primary reason where you don't sleep. You can sleep here, but not here. Ideally, it's not here as well, but this is the area because it's relations, right? Southwest, south wall is the 8th house, clutter, storage, or disposal. And when we connect the astrology, this is very relevant how you actually check the astrology. Center of the house, 9th house. In astrology, 9th house is the house of dharma, which is Sagittarius. and that is the 9th house, that one. Okay, Saturn is west, that's Saturn west. Okay, gains, career, and discipline. Career, Saturn is the 10th house of the natural zodiac. If you want to connect astrology, which is Capricorn, that's where your career lives. Career. So not only your physical axis. If you want progress in your career, this zone has to be balanced, right? And Venus is the southeast. Southeast is the cash flow. That's where the goddess Lakshmi lives. Why I'm doing this? I'm having issues with I'm struggling with my Anonet. Okay, for the timing set, this is the southeast Venus, yeah, this part. Okay, so that's just to connect with that, right? Struggling with this today. Yeah. Signification. Sun is east. So sun is east. Sun is the. Okay. So this is more again with the astrology concept, which will actually not get aligned with your Vastu, but assume sun is east. In astrology we say fire, but here we are saying it's an air element. Okay. Water is northwest. We say it is water element. Here we are saying it is space. So that's why you will see there are some changes in the Vastu and the astrology, but there are some which is okay. So Mars is south, and that's where is the zone of mantras. Okay, kitchen, thorny plants. Any plant like rose, cactus, they all represent Mars. For example, any thorny plant. Plants with thorns. Rose is actually Mars. Okay, so if Mars is weak, you can actually grow rose plant. Right. Jupiter northeast is the prayer room. So temple, Buddha, Guru Nanak, they are all Jupiter. Venus is beautification, electrification, I won't say, but beautification. So cosmetics, anything to do with makeup for ladies, that's all Venus. So they should. If they can actually put their items here, or they can enhance using these items, this zone. So perfume, for example, is Venus, right? Windows is definitely Mercury, right? Which is this. Southwest is clutter. Clutter means anything which is unnecessary, we don't have it. So that's clutter. Saturn is west, which is sink and drain. So Saturn is represented by sink and drain, and Ketu is the flag. Ketu is also cracks. Ketu is also duct. So whenever you have a crack in your house, like you have a crack in your house, you know that Ketu is getting active. Okay, and then you need to get it fixed. Whenever there is a leakage in your house, that means Rahu. Leakage. Yeah. So if there is a leakage, for example, your tap is getting leaked. Like so a lot of people have got taps in India, they never close. They always keep dripping. Even if you close, specifically in India, I've seen that in my house and other places, the taps are always leaking. So if the taps are leaking, that means Rahu is getting activated. So if Rahu is badly placed in your chart, then you have a problem. If it is good, well, leakage is good, but it might not be good for other people in the house, in the house family, because there are 5 or 6 people. Rahu might not be good for everyone. So ideally, leakage should not be there. Dampening, right? In Hindi, they call as sealan. Dampening is also Rahu. Stale means anything old. So all your frozen items, frozen food, achar, pickle, they are all Rahu. Remember that. Rahu technically is not good because that impacts this area of relationships. Yeah. Okay, let's just clear this. Come on. There. Why is it? Sorry guys, I am using Zoom for the first time. I mean, as a host, I haven't used Zoom much. And clear. Okay. Okay. All right. So these are the 45 devtas which we are talking about in the slide. So this is another way of looking at it. I mean, hang on. So these are the 45 devtas in the inner circle, right? And so this is being drawn here. What I have done is I have just drawn it here to give the more context. And this is from that book. So in the book, it is being mentioned how the all 45 devtas are here. So here, it is little bit, the axes are a little bit wrong here. Ishan is the northeast here and Agnya is the southeast. Whereas our